Cancer, it's Marley from the Energy Boutique, bringing you your September energy forecast. So coming into September, we are in Virgo season, a very low and slow earth energy that probably isn't the most favorable energy for you. We are having to kind of get back down to earth, get back down to reality, create new foundations, new habits for us to actually depend upon through our daily lives. But here's the thing, this Virgo energy is really taking up a lot of space in your mental plane. Mercury, its ruler, is definitely adding some extra thoughts and ideas to your particular energy, which means that you're processing a lot and it feels like a little bit too much. It feels like it's hard to, complete a thought, and it feels like it's hard to truly understand what's going on inside of you, let alone be able to communicate that outwards. It's likely not going to get much better this month, seeing that we have Mercury going retrograde, which never tends to help the headspace and our communication styles. However, we do have Venus moving into Virgo on the 5th in this third house as well for you, which I hope is going to be the energy that you need to understand where it is that you have to make a little bit more time to take care of yourself. My Cancer friends have had a very, I'm going to say, rough start to their new solar year since their birthday. And I feel like because they are typically trying to take care of everyone else, their own wants, needs, and desires have definitely got pushed by the wayside. Now, Venus being the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money in this earthy Virgo energy definitely grounds us out, definitely gives us a little bit of a reality check, but puts a lot of pressure in our headspace in order for us to come up with new routines, new diets, new exercise regimens, new time in our schedule in order to actually balance out our mind, our body, our soul. So this Venus in Virgo energy is going to help us be a little bit more logical and practical with what it is that we have to do for ourselves, instead of giving all of our energy, our power, our focus, and attention away to trying to help everyone else. On September 9th is when Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler over information and communication, actually goes retrograde in Libran energy. So this is going to be a little bit of a slowdown in our mental plane, again, really affecting the way that we think, the way that we're able to communicate. But we have to do a whole lot of reflection. And this is really going to be a major focus on relationships, especially lost relationships where the home and the family dynamic is concerned. So Mercury retrograding in Libran energy is taking up space in this fourth house of home and family. And Cancer naturally rules over this fourth house. So this is going to be a pretty interesting time for you to rebalance the scales between your heart and your head to try and make peace with certain situations that have already transpired, really reprocessing all of the events, all of the pain, all of the trauma that has might taken place in order to create the dysfunction, the loss, the void that you currently are feeling in this fourth house. Now, retrogrades aren't necessarily a bad thing. It actually creates the change that we need to have in order to realign us with our path, with our purpose. And because I feel like, it has been quite a bumpy ride for my Cancer friends as of late, it is going to be a time for you to get a little bit more grounded, a little bit more concentrated on, finding a happy medium grounding point again, even despite some of the hardships that you've had to face where the home and the family dynamic is concerned. Now, whatever chaos, whatever craziness pops off, whatever memories come up, whatever people kind of come back from the past, whatever, pain and trauma kind of gets activated and triggered within the home and the family dynamic, just realize that we will have an opportunity to solve that, to heal that, to fix that later in the month when Mercury actually retrogrades back into Virgo energy. On the 10th, we have the full moon in Pisces taking place, and this is going to be highlighting your ninth house. So your ninth house is where your higher self is. It's where your higher education is, where knowledge and wisdom and beliefs are. It is basically where we have to tap into our philosophical side in order to make peace and understand why we had to go through certain things, and of course, try to pluck out the silver linings from some of the not so nice things that have happened. The full moon in Pisces is kind of rewinding us back to February and March of this year when something began, and now we are seeing this kind of closure, this ending point, this full chapter realization, if you will. Now, the full moon in Pisces is a super emotional time. We are super sensitive. Our intuition is very strong, but our emotions almost complicate the insight coming in from our intuition. The full moon in Pisces is here to show us what we've been able to heal since that time frame, what it is that has been absolutely broken, because of course, endings are bittersweet. We have to let go of things in order for new chapters to begin. But it's also illuminating to us where new dreams are being initiated, because maybe we kind of face disappointment in what it is that we've been able to accomplish since the beginning of this year. In the ninth house, it almost feels like you're being illuminated to where maybe you fell off the path of your spiritual progress, of your own personal development. Maybe you were, really into a topic and theme, educational wise, that you lost interest in. It is kind of shining a bright light and illumination, if you will, on where things haven't, kind of went according to plan. And this is a good time to discern whether or not we're still passionate about said things. We just don't have the energy to pursue them. Whether we do want to jump back into gaining wisdom and knowledge about a certain topic or theme, and where it is that we can kind of see where new chapters, especially karmic chapters, are kind of unfolding for us to fill the void of some of the things that we feel like we've lost throughout this past year. On the 22nd, we have Libra season beginning. This means that, we're moving into an air energy, which is probably going to be a better energy for you than the Virgo earth energy that we've been in. Air energy likes to keep things light and fluffy, likes to show us different sides of the coin, likes to show us where it is we've been living in extremes, only for us to find a happy medium in those extremes so that we can be in a state of contentment, in a state of peace, in harmony with the circumstances that have already transpired, our current circumstances that we are looking to find comfort in as we desire change. So the Libran energy also triggers the fall equinox, and the equinox energy essentially gives us an even playing field. It's when, the day and the night are even once again. It is when the pain from the past gets evened out with the love, with the healing of the here and now and of the possibilities of the future. And so we are essentially, going hard at it up until this Libra season kind of kicks off and the equinox kicks off, because this is going to be a time for us to balance the scales. We get to balance the scales and restore peace and harmony within ourselves, between our heart and our head. We get to smooth over certain relationship dynamics that have definitely taken a hit. We get to find where it is that we have to make peace with the circumstances that we were kind of thrown into. And because this Libra season is very focused on relationships and finding balance once again, and illuminating your fourth house of your home and family, it is going to be time for you to put the pieces back together in a way that would provide you a little bit more stability than what it is that you've been currently experiencing. You do have a huge emphasis on the fourth house and the third house this month. So the fourth house is about your home and family and the new foundations that need to be built in order to take care of yourself and get yourself back to a place of stability. And the third house is the mental plane, the inner narrative, the ideas, the understanding, the perception, and the way that we're actually able to kind of communicate what's going on in our inner realm to the people in the world around us, which of course with Mercury retrograde is a little bit of a challenge. So on the 23rd is when Mercury actually retrogrades back into Virgo energy, taking Mercury back into the third house that it actually rules over for you. So like I had mentioned at the beginning of this forecast, when Mercury retrogrades back into Virgo, into its place of power, especially in the third house for you, this is a time where we get our mental health back on track, when we have a better perception, understanding, perspective of what's going on, when we're able to understand ourselves a little bit better, communicate a little bit clearly, and have new ideas kind of come into our realm on how it is that we're going to fix our certain circumstances and return ourselves to a state of health and wellness. On the 25th, we have the new moon taking place in Libran energy. Again, a huge spotlight on your fourth house of home and family. So with the new moon in Libra, it's taking place at 2 degrees. So this means that we're actually closing out a 2.5-year cycle, and that we are about to begin a brand new 2.5-year cycle. So this is a great time for us to examine where it is that we want to set intentions for all the Libran topics. Where do we want peace? Where do we want harmony? Where do we need more stability in between living in extremes? Where do we want more love? Where do we want relationships to be strengthened and to be even and balanced? And because this new moon in Libra is taking place in the fourth house of home and family, and because I know many of my Cancer and friends have been dealing with a lot of adjustment in their homes and family dynamics, I feel like this is when you finally make peace with all that has transpired and come up with a beautiful, new, happier perspective, vibration, frequency on how it is that you're going to move forward from kind of recovering, if you will, from some of the adjustments that have had to take place within the home. On the 29th, we have Venus, the goddess of love and beauty and worth and pleasure and money, move into Libran energy, again, in this fourth house for you, in the home and the family dynamic. Now, Venus is in her place of power in Libran energy, so we all get down to what makes us feel good, what makes us look good, what makes us feel happy and complete and joyful and grateful for our experiences. And I feel like this energy is coming at a great time, especially after the new moon in Libra, to really kind of, I'm going to say, make you focus on the smaller details of life, to see the beautiful things in life once again, to realize where it is that you have to boss up and pamper yourself and nurture yourself back to a place of health and wellness, where you have to make peace within yourself, between your heart, between your head, between, the old versus the new. It is a time where we're going to have a lot of extra energy to pour into loving ourselves and loving our life and loving those around us. And this is going to be a great energy to kind of get us out of the funk of being stuck in the past and a little bit more focused on what it is that we want to build for ourselves in the future. So with all that being said, what I would like for you to just kind of hold on to as you go through the month is focusing in on the little joys in life, the little celebrations, if you will. Having the attitude of gratitude is really hard to have when you're in pain, and when your heart has kind of been broken in certain aspects. But it feels like you are kind of being, I'm going to say, growing tired of the pain, of the trauma, of the suffering. And that doesn't mean that the bad things don't stop happening to us. It just means that we are going to stop feeling trapped and start seeing a different perspective, a different side of the situations that are taking place, and try to look for the silver linings in our circumstances. I feel like you need to really focus on getting back to healthy routines, healthy diets, healthy exercise routines, making time for, meditation or art class, whatever it is that makes you feel happy and whole. You're the only one who can put yourself back together in a state of wholeness. And I feel like it's time for you to kind of really focus in on the small tasks and chores that you can be doing in the run of your day that will overall be contributing to a happier, healthier you. Mentally speaking, I definitely think that you need to give yourself permission, give yourself a break. With Mercury going retrograde, our intellect isn't moving as fast as we would like, as smooth as we would like, as sharp as we would like. Our intuition is really going to help us through navigating through the changes that we need to make and the path that we need to be aligned with. And I feel like you just need to take a time out to make sure that your heart is leading the way, that you are in alignment with what it is that you're passionate about, that makes you happy, that brings you joy. I feel like giving yourself permission for you to stop trying to make sense of things that have already happened and just feel your way through the healing process is the only way for you to be successful navigating the energies of this month. Your home and your family environment is turning a corner. There has been a lot of adjustments. Granted, it never feels good to have this much change take place, good, bad, or otherwise. But I feel like you're coming out on top. And I know that might be a hard thing to kind of absorb and understand right now. But by the end of the month, I do feel that you're going to be on a different path and that you will have made peace with certain situations and circumstances that have already kind of come to pass. But the most important thing is that you take time to reestablish the connection and the relationship with yourself. I feel like you've been so consumed with other people's lives, with roles and responsibilities, and just, the what has been asked of you in the external realm, and it's been taking you away from filling up your own cup. And so it is time for you to get a little bit grounded, a little bit more stable in what it is that you need to be doing for you. When it comes to your career and life passion area, I feel like there's a brand new beginning that is being presented to you. And it may just be the brand new way of looking at things or a brand new way of tackling the tasks and chores and the roles and responsibilities of your career. But I also feel like there's new money coming into play, whether it be through finances or some other means that means that you can take a step back or a step away from pushing so hard to try and make ends meet where your career is concerned. There's a lot of people in your life here to support you. However, I feel like you have a hard time leaning on them because you are usually the person that people lean upon for help, for support. And I just feel like this may be a lesson this month on you being as open to receiving as you are to giving. And, it is a hard lesson to do, but there is a lot of people that, are used to celebrating your highs, and that would just be equally as open to sitting in your lows with you. And I feel like because you are at a very pivotal point in your year where, your birthday just happened, you're in your spring season, you're really struggling to bring new elements to life. There's been all of this pain, this trauma, this suffering coming back from your past in order for you to release that and free you up to have new experiences in this new natal year. I just feel like you have to work very hard at having more fun, at, keeping the vibe high, at not being so serious and weighted down all the time. And I know that that's hard to do when your emotions are running amok, but it's going to have to be a conscious effort for you as you move through September to not let your mental plane and mental health get the best of you. It is time for you to, really kind of strengthen your emotional intelligence and override the internal narrative that has been kind of obsessively getting you down as of late. In your relationship area, I feel like there's a lot of healing, a lot of repairment needed that's coming under retrograde, where we have to reflect, revise, redo, rebuild, rework. I feel like you do have some relationships that have ended, that have kind of left a little bit of a wound on your heart space that you're having a hard time bouncing back from. But again, this is a time of realignment, making peace with the situations that have already taken place outside of your control in order to free you up and kind kind of open up the realm of possibilities for you to move onward without carrying such heavy emotional weight. So get back down to the little things. Start with the run of your day. You have the power to change your life in the way that you change your mind, in the way that you are looking at it. I know it sounds like it's, easier said than done type of thing, but there is a huge energy coming at you this month that will just basically derail you from what it is that you've been stuck in and push you into opening your mind up, opening your life up, mostly opening your heart up to new people, to new ways of doing things, to new ways of looking at your life, and most of all, new ways of taking care of yourself. So that's all that I have for you this month, Cancer. I hope that you navigate this month with as much grace and ease as possible. I'm sending you nothing but love, and we'll talk to you soon.